Hey there, it's Denise Taylor, and I wanted to pop back in today. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who celebrated me this week. All of the love, all of the text, all of the acknowledgement, all of the just well wishes that were given to me this week for my birthday were so wonderfully warm and felt by me. So, whether you just made a comment, whether you actually went the distance to text or call or do anything to celebrate me, I do not take that for granted at all. I will tell you, I enjoy flowers. One of the things my mom used to say often is she would say, "Give me my flowers while I am living." And now I get it. I didn't get it before, but I absolutely get it now. And not only did my husband personally arrange beautiful flowers for me. I had a very dear friend send me flowers, and it was just so wonderful to receive. The flowers she sent were the same flowers that they put in Hawaiian leis. And so it was just so refreshing. The colors were so vibrant. In fact, they are still blooming so nicely. And so I just appreciate flowers like never before. The other thing is, I had a friend reach out to me and say, "Denise, we need to go to a concert and celebrate our birthdays." And so we did. It was a group that she loved growing up. I knew the group, but when I went, I was so pleasantly surprised and delighted about how much I enjoyed the concert. There was good music, there was great production, and I just loved having a moment where I could just show up and enjoy myself. So I absolutely enjoyed the concert. My niece took me to a Galentine event last night. It was to watch a movie. Everyone was dressed up in pink, and so that was a good time too. And so I just felt celebrated this week. And I think we all should have an opportunity to feel celebrated from time to time. I am trying to bring up a post that I did acknowledging my birthday because I was able to capture some really good reflections in there. One of which I wanted to share with you here. What really comes to me is the fact that I have had a chance to live a very full life. Like, I have already far exceeded anything that I thought I would be able to achieve as a young lady, as a young girl growing up. My life has been blessed. And I think that is the best word to describe what I sense when I think about my life's journey. But what I wrote down, and I'm not going to unpack it or read it all, but what I wrote down actually just sticks with me so much because when I think about what lies ahead, I am fascinated, not only because it's a heart's dream, but I'm fascinated because it feels so absolutely positively possible for me. So what I capture here was this. It says, "I've lived fully, I've accomplished a lot, and still I'm deeply moved by the impact that's unfolding through corporate to entrepreneur." Every single week, I sit with women who are doing it, who are making it happen. They are building real businesses. They are reimagining their careers as entrepreneurs. And on top of those two great things, they are making meaningful impact in the marketplace without abandoning the success they've already earned. And to me, that's incredible. Every time I get to think about the impact that I get to make and the ripple it has through to all of the women that I get to serve through corporate to entrepreneur, I am always blown away. But I'm also so incredibly attracted to it even more. I'm even more attracted to what we get to do when we just give ourselves permission to believe in what we've been called to do as entrepreneurs. And so, as I was continuing to reflect about this incredible week that I had, I was taken back to October when I hosted the Corporate to Entrepreneur live event. When I hosted it in October, there were three women, amongst others, but there were three women who were in the room, and these three women made the decision to partner with me as their coach. So we started working together in November, and when I look at November to now, we are at the very beginning of February. So it's only been 3 months. November, December, and January. In 3 months' time, these women have had such radical changes in what they have been able to do in their businesses. So, the first one, I was thinking about my client who she was uncertain whether or not she wanted to move forward in business. She had been working towards her business for at least a year, I knew of. But in November, she was trying to put the pieces together. And so we came up with some very actionable game plans for her. And so in November, she had no program, she had no clients. She just wrapped up a 30-day coaching program, a group coaching program for women that she was able to pitch at her event effectively, enroll women in it, and then take the women through it. And they just completed it. So I'm blown away because she wrapped up her first group program. And in November, there was no program. There was no clients. And now she has helped her community identify how they want to transform their lives. And when talking with her, one of the women decided to pick up her camera again and really make an attempt at photography in a way she had never discovered before. Another woman committed to writing her book and getting it done. And another woman committed to establishing boundaries. And those are just the stories that she told me. But where I get to celebrate, where I get to have a moment is because of my rise in giving myself permission and her rise of giving herself permission. We were able to impact the lives of the people who connected with her and are now transformed. And that is what corporate to entrepreneur is all about. It is about the impact that we give ourselves permission to make when we lean into purpose-driven businesses. So that was just one of the women who showed up in the room in October. And now she not only has her business operating and thriving, she has strategies that she's putting into work, and she's about to host another event again this month so that she can run it back and make more impact. The second person who was in the room with me, she has had a business. She serves as a speaker. She now serves as a coach, which is something she didn't anticipate, but she's stepping in fully. So when I got on the phone with her in January, she was in the throes of finishing a book that I really didn't even know was on the table. So she was working on a book, and I guess she had multiple books that were in the works. She's in the midst of kind of finishing them all, but she had set a goal for herself to complete that book by the end of January. And so when I met with her, we did some strategy around delegating certain aspects so that it could get done. And y'all, she pre-ordered 50 books and sold them out and now has to order more. Not only that, in working with me, I encouraged her to put a program around the book. Book sales are great, and as self-publishers, it's very hard to make a fortune off of them. But when you put a program around the book and experience, you now give yourself something that's monetizable and that you can begin to share. And people enrolled. They enrolled in her program. She is now set to do more enrollments because when we saw it was working, we came up with more strategies of how to go to the market and begin to pull in more people that may be interested in taking part. So that was the second win. Now, let me just say, when she came to Corporate to Entrepreneur Live, that wasn't on the table. That wasn't even one of the things we set as a goal. But with real-time support, and with someone who can operate and think strategically, we were able to make that happen for her business. She has sold out all of her pre-ordered books. She is now taking orders for the next round of books that she's going to get delivered. And on top of that, she has created a group coaching program to take the people through the experience that comes alive in her book. November, none of that. Beginning of February, all of that. She is the second person that was in that room who has seen great transformation. And the last person I want to tell you about, she had a business. It was a functioning business. She was getting orders every week for her services. But when we met, she said she wanted to upgrade her offer. So she and we shared screens. We got all of the information in place, including the numbers that make the offer work. And guess what? She texted me. I was literally in the middle of pumping gas in my car. And she texted me in all caps, I just sold my first offer. She just started talking about it a couple of weeks, but she has been able to target very specifically a need that is so necessary in this season that it did not take much runway to convert that offer. And I told her the same thing my coach told me when I first started getting momentum in my business. There's more out there. There is more impact to be made. So I share those 3 stories because those are the highlights that all just happened. All of them just happened this week, which happened to be my birthday week. So I consider all of that great gifts for me. But what I want to share now is an opportunity for you to get in the room that made a difference for them, where they got connected with me, for you to get in that room at the next Corporate to Entrepreneur live event, which is going to be happening in April. I'm so excited. Spring is coming, but on top of that, this event will mark the 4-year anniversary of me making that pivot to full-time entrepreneurship. And I cannot wait to bring the energy of my celebration to the room of the women who are going to be there. Now, you may be asking yourself, is this for me? Now, I have some notes because I want to be very intentional on addressing the things that you may be mulling over in your head. And the first one you may be asking yourself is this for me? The Corporate to Entrepreneur Live experience is for women who are successful but are no longer contained by that success. You are ready to fly. You are ready to soar. You are ready to establish and live and work by your own terms. Now, here's the thing. You are not trying to escape your career. That is not what you're trying to do. You're not trying to escape your career. You're trying to reimagine it. In fact, you are trying to extend your leadership into something of your own. The thing that says to me it's possible for you is the fact that you have led teams, you have managed complexity, and you've delivered results. Coming to the table with that acumen tells me you've got what it takes to truly take that corporate to entrepreneur journey. Now you're asking deeper questions of yourself. You're asking deeper questions around purpose and around your authority and around ownership. And those deeper questions, they feel like you are answering something from within. And so this is the reason why I say I work with women who are called to it. It's that inner knowing you are called to it. And I want to tell you, if you want to build a business that reflects who you have become without burning down what you have built, Corporate to Entrepreneur Live is the right experience. It highlights the right journey. It incorporates the right method to ensure that that happens for you. Now, the next question you may be asking yourself is, can you trust me? Can you trust me with this valuable thing you're holding in your hand? Your desire. Can you trust me with your dream? Can you trust me to help you get the results? And what I will say to you is you should never trust someone just because they're confident or visible. You should never trust someone for that. The reasons for your trust should come as a result of someone who understands your world and the transition you're navigating. See, the thing about going from corporate to entrepreneur is there's some things that you are aware of that are innate within you, but you can't just give that to anybody. You have to trust it to someone who understands the journey. And what I find, and this is not a knock, but what I find from entrepreneurs who have not taken that corporate to entrepreneur journey, especially from a seat of leadership, is they don't understand what's happening with you. They don't understand the real transition that you are navigating. And what I want you to know is I've lived inside of corporate leadership. I understand the high stakes. I understand the mindset. I even understand the identity shift. And I also understand and know very personally that fear of losing credibility. I know it all firsthand. And this is why Corporate to Entrepreneur Live is not about theory. I'm not here to come up with theory. You are successful enough to really theorize what it is that you need to do. I'm showing up with lived experience from someone who has been there and done it. That is always the best place to go for wisdom. I am showing up with lived experience and from walking alongside women who have made that shift and who are making that shift with clarity, strategy, and integrity. That's me. That's what I show up and to deliver to you. And so what I know for myself is you don't need a coach that's going to hype you up. That's not what you need, and that's not what you're looking for. You actually need someone who could be a guide, who respects what you've already earned and understands the authority that you come to the table with. The third thing that I think is important for me to address is the urgency and the sensitivity of this moment. There's so much buzz going around in so many different ways, but there is something about this moment that makes it different. You see, one of the key things that you're sensitive to from your experience is timing matters when leadership is expanding. You can't wait because the wait will make it a chase. As a leader, you know you have to stay on top of it, but better yet, get in front of it so that you can begin to manage the evolution. And so the sensitivity of this moment is because you know your leadership is expanding. You sense it in every possible way. For you, this is not a random idea that you just had. You have been feeling this pull for a while. You've been waiting, but you're starting to realize that waiting doesn't make the call get quieter. In fact, it has made it get heavier. You're starting to feel the weight of it like never before. So right now is the right moment to pause. It's the right moment for you to zoom out. And it's the right moment for you to truly put the pen in your hand and design what comes next intentionally. Not a default decision, not getting to the point where you're made to decide this, but intentionally with pen in hand, designing it for yourself so that you don't chase it, but you can be in front of the evolution. In Corporate to Entrepreneur Live, this is where I create very intentionally and safely a space to think like a CEO of your next chapter, not react as an employee of your current one. This space is energized to empower you to become who it is you know you sense you're being called to be. And number 4 is not finally. So I got 5. So hang with me. Number 4 is being clear about what you'll walk away if you decide to join me in the room. If you decide to join me at Corporate to Entrepreneur Live, you will walk away with clarity and not inspiration. And that's something I had to learn very early in my transition. It's very easy for us to be inspirational. And inspirational is like a bright light that attracts, but you leave without power. I want to get you plugged in so that you leave with more than just a good time. You'll walk away with clarity and not just inspiration. Here are the key things you're going to understand. You're going to understand what you've been called to build. You're going to understand how to position your experience strategically. You're going to understand what kind of business model actually fits your life. And you're going to understand how to think like a CEO about revenue, about authority, and about ownership. That's what you're going to walk away with. You won't leave with a to-do list, not a checklist, but you will leave with a framework, a direction, and a decisive next step for you. For you. Not overwhelmed, but decisive. And then finally, number 5, we are here. I'm nearing the end, and this is where the gold is. You need to understand what is going to happen if you do nothing. What is going to happen if you don't show up? What is going to happen if you choose to try to keep figuring it out on your own? The reality is nothing will break for you. You'll keep performing, you'll keep succeeding, and you will keep being respected. But the question you've been carrying about your next, about this nudge to become an entrepreneur, it's not going to go away. Over time, unanswered questions turn into quiet dissatisfaction. Not because you're ungrateful, but because growth was trying to happen within you. Corporate to Entrepreneur Live isn't about pressure. It's about giving yourself room to respond instead of postponing the inevitable. The inevitable. Your future is the inevitable, and you need to take the pen and design it. And so this is my personal invitation to you to join me at Corporate to Entrepreneur. This experience is going to be life-changing, game-changing, impact-making, but more than all of that, it is going to be the defining moment for women who are ready to go from corporate to entrepreneur. This room has proven change. I celebrated the changes earlier, and there are so many others because there were many women in that room who are working towards their goals, who are connected with me, who are activated on their journey. I just talked about what happened this week. I want to encourage you to take the pen and write your future. I want to encourage you to get in a space that's safe, strategic, and will point you to how to navigate your corporate to entrepreneur journey successfully. So here's the deal. You just need to go to www.c2e.live, c2e.live. And when you go there, you'll see all of the information about the event. You will also see an option to upgrade to the VIP, which brings you into more proximity of women and me who are all driven to be successful on our journeys. That connection is so incredibly valuable. So this is my personal invitation to you. Also, my thanks for the celebration you all have given me. And I want to encourage you to be the change that you want to see.